Bienvenidos a La Paz, Dakar 2018. ¡Viva el Dakar 2018! ¡Que viva! ¡Vamos adelante! ¡Vamos!
Welcome to Dakar 2018. It's time for the riders and drivers to recharge their batteries on a well-deserved rest day in La Paz. An opportunity for us to look back over an action-packed first week in the Peruvian dunes.
After a long day in the driving seat and saddle, spirits were restored as the crews of Dakar 2018 were greeted in La Paz with a hero's welcome. With tens of thousands of locals lining the streets for many kilometers into the Bolivian city, the celebrations intensified around the podium as all competitors had their moment in front of a vocal crowd. The traditional ceremonial welcome, the waving of the Bolivian flag, even some classic Bolivian rain couldn't dampen the atmosphere. Dakar legends enjoying the attention and no doubt also enjoying the prospect of a rest day in this vibrant city.
This Friday's rest day in La Paz gave the bikers a chance for a breather after an intense first week of racing. 18 of the 25 warriors in the unassisted original class are still going. They, more than most, will have been happy for this brief hiatus in the Bolivian capital. Meanwhile, it's neck and neck at the top of the standings, where KTM, Yamaha and Honda all have a rider within the space of 4 minutes. With two men in the top five, including the overall leader Kevin Benavides, Honda are determined to end KTM's 16-year winning streak in the bikes.
No, I'm just glad I made it to the rest day, and now the next goal is to make it to the finish line.
So, can Benavides keep hold of top spot? I felt really good this week. I maintained a very good pace, and that has put me in this position. It's a result of my good speed, so I'm very happy. But let's face it, there's still a very long way to go. Bring on the second week. So let's take a look back at the first 6 days of action in the bikes. It all began here with the official podium ceremony in the Peruvian capital, Lima. French rookie Bruno Scherer had the honour of being the first bike out on the piste, but this was a tricky start for amateurs and professionals alike. Defending champion Sam Sunderland out to show who's boss. He took the first stage win by 33 seconds.
Day one Dakar, and win is always good.
But not easy for Sunderland to open the piste after the cars on stage 2. He dropped around 6 minutes. A fine ride from sound specialist Adrian van Beveren, coming second for the second successive day. And a sensational ride from Joan Barreda, the Spaniard securing his 20th Dakar stage victory and moving to the top of the overall standings. We'll try to keep the same rhythm, but there are so many strong and quick riders, especially on this kind of terrain. A tough third stage for Barreda, the Honda man losing almost half an hour after missing a waypoint. Van Beveren also dropped 13 minutes after a minor spill. The Yamaha WR 450F nevertheless looking capable of matching KTM and Honda. 2016 champion Toby Price steadily improving after a broken leg last year. He was third. Kevin Benavides also looking on fine form for Honda, going second overall. Sunderland continuing his perfect start with another stage win, even if he took a tumble late in the day.
Yeah, I'm a bit angry at myself for missing that drop there, but one drop out of 1,000 is not so bad, you know.
A throwback to the Dakars of old on stage 4 with a mass start on Akari Beach. Xavier de Sultre kicking clear early, he came second for Yamaha. But disaster for Sunderland. After injuring his back in a crash, the defending champion was unable to go on, a fourth retirement for him in 5 Dakars. Matthias Walkner still flying the flag for KTM though, the Austrian only 5 minutes off the pace. Van Beveren taking a richly deserved stage win to move into the overall lead. It's really important for the team. Yamaha worked so hard to help us win and it's paying off, so it's great. A tricky 5th stage on the soft sand. Johnny Aubert of Gas recovering to finish 10th. Van Beveren just about keeping hold of his overall lead. But he had Benavides breathing down his neck, just 1 minute off the pace. Bereda recovering a fair amount of the time that he lost on day 3 with another dominant stage victory. Lake Titicaca providing the backdrop for a shortened stage 6, the first in Bolivia. A fairly brutal change of scenery and temperature. Gerard Fares, third last year, 18 minutes off the pace. And Price coming third to go 5th overall. Benavides taking over from Van Beveren at the top, the Honda man underlining his status as a potential overall winner. The stage victory went to KTM's Antoine Mayo, the 5-time Enduro World Champion with a superbly controlled ride through the wet conditions. He moves into the top 7 overall. It wasn't easy, it felt like the bike was asthmatic at the start, lacking a bit of power, and it was slippery with the rain. But I'm happy, no major errors, it was a good stage. So Benavides leads from Van Beveren, Walkner, Bereda and Price, fewer than 10 minutes separating the top 5. 2-time reigning world champion Pablo Quintanilla is in 8th place, just behind Mayo and de Sultre. Elsewhere, Laia Sanz is cruising towards another victory in the women's category. The Spaniard running 17th overall on her KTM, around an hour off the pace. She's over 7 hours clear of the next best woman, Rosa Romero. Olivier Pain, third in the bikes in 2014, leads the original class, while Luciano Benavides, Kevin's younger brother, is currently the top rookie. And so to the quads.
Ready for the race, ready for Dakar, and I will do my best to defend the title.
Russia's defending champion Sergei Karyakin, apparently the man to beat. But 2014 winner Ignacio Casale had other ideas. The Chilean storming to the first 3 stage wins in the Peruvian dunes. The idea is to gain as much time as possible on Sergei because he's a very fast rider on Argentinian soil. It's very hard to beat him on that type of terrain. Well, in spite of winning stage 4, Karyakin was forced to abandon after sustaining an arm fracture on stage 5. Another former champion, Rafael Sonic, dropped out on stage 6, the 2015 winner suffering a broken leg. We're set to have very different conditions now. After the dunes of Peru, we move to Bolivia, with altitude, mountains, rain. As far as I'm concerned, a new Dakar begins here. Pablo Capetti, third last year, currently running third this year. Meanwhile, Alexi Hernandez is 41.5 minutes back in second. Impressive stuff from Peru's rising star. But Casale's been close to untouchable and goes into the second week with a healthy advantage. Here is the current lineup. Argentine pair Jeremias Gonzalez and Gustavo Gallego rounding out the top 5. On their way to the second special yesterday, the competitors were welcomed in style in the city of Puno. A nice way to bid farewell to the country before heading to neighbouring Bolivia for more Dakar action. We were able to show the world a part of Peru that isn't so well known. A region with deserts and mountains. That's what Peru is all about. There's the Peru of the coast and then the Peru of Lake Titicaca. So we're very satisfied. It's been very difficult and a real challenge for all of us.
Además de complicada, un gran desafío para todos.
Not far from the shores of Lake Titicaca, the many fans gathered here in Puno had the opportunity to cheer on the heroes of the Dakar, as well as enjoy one of the Dakar ferias organised here in Peru. So gracias Peru, and thank you for such a warm welcome.
Esta gran oportunidad de visitar a lo que fue la cuna del imperio de los incas.
The Army Barracks in La Paz is our home for 2 nights. A haven for teams to pause briefly as the brutal Dakar schedule has taken its toll on the humans as well as the cars. For the top teams, it's a chance to take stock, making sure the cars that have covered over 3,000 kilometres so far are back to box fresh, or as close as possible for the battle to continue tomorrow. The drivers themselves can relax a little and reflect on the status quo.
Carlos
and I are fragile leaders because we have seen that in 2 days we've lost 2 of our teammates, Cyril Dupre, who now has no chance of winning, and Sebastian, who has retired. So the leadership is very fragile. Right across the bivouac, the body and the bodywork alike get attention. All categories take time over engineering, ready for another brutal 4,000 kilometres of off-road rally raid action. Feels like a long time ago since the ceremonial start in Lima, but it was only last week that the class of Dakar 2018 were given a very warm welcome in the Peruvian capital. American Dakar rookie Bryce Menzies was very quick out of the blocks. Too quick, in fact, for this double caution jump, which threw his new 2-wheel drive mini buggy end over end, injuring his co-driver and ending his rally.
Just bummed, you know. It's not how I saw my Dakar going.
Back in Mini, Nani Roma was hoping for another win, but this roll left his head ringing and his rally prematurely over. After an excellent start, Cyril Dupre hit the Peruvian geology, and while he did eventually continue, he is totally out of contention. We hit a rock, and before we knew it, we were up in the air. I can't find the words. It's a ridiculous place for it to happen. Sebastian Loeb's last chance to win in the current Peugeot factory setup sank in the sand, along with his 3008. I didn't see it. I was trying to pass the car on the right and we fell in the hole. And it's over. While Yazid Al-Raji's Mini nearly floated away into the Pacific, a total of 31 cars have retired so far. Eugenio Amos continues to impress on only his second Dakar, driving a two-wheel drive buggy, helped massively by experienced French co-driver Sébastien Delaunay, currently 9th overall. The Czech Republic's most successful rally driver Martin Prokop is competing on his third Dakar. Last year he finished 11th. For 2018 he is 7th overall and is again the highest placed driver representing the blue oval of Ford. Having transitioned from bikes to cars in 2016, Jakub Przegonski has 8 Dakars under his belt across the two disciplines. He is 6th overall. The 2009 winner Giniel de Villiers is 1 hour 35 minutes back in the overall standings after a bad day in the dunes on stage 4, but he is currently in 5th overall. The beachfront mass start of stage 4 was a great chance for Nasser Al-Attiyah to race his rivals side by side. Despite major delays in the dunes, Nasser Al-Attiyah is still spearheading the campaign for Toyota to win the Dakar for the first time. The Qatari continues to match the pace of the Peugeots, currently 4th overall, 1 hour 24 minutes behind the leader. In his first outing on the Dakar as a full Toyota Works driver, Dutchman Bernard ten Brinker is benefiting hugely from having co-driver Michel Perrin alongside him. Currently 3rd overall, on target for a podium. When Carlos Sainz won stage 6, it was his 30th stage win in Dakar history, which puts him ahead of Jackie Ickx and behind only Ari Vatanen and Stefan Petterhansel in the record books. The Spanish rally legend will continue to push for the win. He is 27 minutes behind teammate and rival Petterhansel. Stefan has avoided the troubles of the others in the dunes, which he has described as the hardest since it transferred from Africa to South America. With only 1 stage win out of 6, nonetheless, the experienced team with co-driver Jean-Paul Cottret as his guide, Mr. Dakar finds himself with a healthy lead on target for his 14th Dakar win. The absence of Dupre and Loeb from the top 5 doesn't stop that familiar Peugeot dominance, with 3 Toyotas ready to pounce if they falter. And with many of the pre-event favourites long gone, drivers like veteran Patrick Serejol and Emirati privateer Al-Qasimi, they're looking good for a top 10 finish. The best placed rookie is South African Henny de Klerk in his Volkswagen Amarok in 32nd overall. And leading the T2 class is Japanese driver Akira Miura in his Toyota VDJ200. In the side-by-side category, an update of last year's UTV class, it's a Can-Am 1-2 with Peruvian Juan Carlos Uribe behind Brazilian Reinaldo Varela, who looks on track to succeed his compatriot Leandro Torres' 2017 win. The gaps within the top 5 are big, but there's still a long way to go for the Polaris drivers Aliaga, Fournier and Garouste to keep the pressure on in the side-by-side.